Well, hello, everybody. I'm so happy that you joined us here. We're going to have a fabulous interview with a really one of a unique kind of woman. Her name is Marianne Rivera-Dannert. And you know what? She has so much experience. She is an author. She is a coach, a life and leadership coach. She went to university for a number of degrees, which really lift her up in helping her clients. She also has a podcast. Marianne, why don't you just yourself tell us a little bit what you are? I mean, you can raise your own flag here. Why not?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me on your platform. It is truly an honor. Again, my name is Mary Rivera-Dannert. I am a certified life coach, speaker, author of over 20 different anthologies. I have my own four anthologies and two solo books. I love all things travel. I have three children. I have my own business, which is called the Liberated Women's Movement, where I work with women who feel stuck, unfulfilled. They know that there's more to life, but they're not sure how to get started. So that's who I am.
Fantastic. We're going to talk about that today. The subject is from stuck to stoppable. And I think that's so good for you. How women can reclaim their voice, confidence, and purpose. And, what she didn't really say is that she helps women discover that whatever their desire is, it is within. So let's talk about that a little bit from stuck. Let's just go. Many women feel stuck, or disconnected from themselves. And what, in your experience, are the most common reasons for that they sort of lost their voice? Please talk about that, Marianne.
Yeah, definitely. And it doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly. We're taking care of children, aging parents, employees, if we have a job outside of the workforce, our significant other. And by the time you take a moment to want to pour into yourself, you are exhausted. You have probably lost your identity because, again, you are running around and taking care of other people, whether it's friends. If you have your own business, you're taking care of customers. And as women, we are natural nurturers. So we are always pouring into other people, and again, all these different titles, all these different hats that we are constantly wearing. By the time you have the energy to take care of you, you're tired. And this happens gradually. If might start with 1 week, 2 weeks, and then a month has gone by, several months has gone by, and your dreams, your goals, your aspirations continue to be put on the back burner, but everybody else is still a priority. Years go by, and you start to wonder, what happened to me? But again, it's easier to go back to what's comfortable, to what's known, than it is to pursue your own passions to the point that you end up not realizing any longer what those passions are. And that's, the type of woman that I work with, that she realizes that there's something missing. She has allowed, not because she wasn't aware or on purpose, but again, as natural nurturers. And we see this from whether it's our mothers, our grandmothers, our aunts, whoever raised us, we see that generational, women again are always taking care of other people and things like that to the point that you forget who you are.
Isn't that it's actually almost something that comes natural and you don't even feel it. You don't notice until you're like 6 years later and you go like, what happened
Right.
to me? What happened
Yeah.
to me? I remember when I married, I had some dreams, didn't I? And now what happened to me? And so we also, many women, and I did the same, have a sort of a matter of like, no, 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 let's forget about this. I have other things to do. I have the kids, I have my
Mhm.
husband, I have my work, I have this. but it's still there in the back. It's
Correct.
still a little bit there and it's still grinding. And then you go like, really? Really?
Yeah.
But I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to change that. I'm sure that Marianne, that you have bumped into that so many times, right?
Yeah, and not just with my clients, but even with myself.
yeah,
Because again, we meet Mr. Right or Mr. or Mrs. whoever,
if we're lucky.
and yes, and we, end up getting engaged, married, or living together, whatever the situation may be. We end up having children or adopting children or joining the workforce, running a business, and so forth. And again, we are taking care of other people because this is what we see in society. It's something that we see on TV. How often do you see, especially on older shows that we probably grew up watching, the mother is the one that's at home taking care of the children, taking care of the husband, taking care of the household, but she's not doing anything for herself because if she does, she's selfish. And how dare she pause to, love on herself just a little bit or take time for her passions, for her dreams. And again, slowly they just go by the wayside to the point that she starts to just say, what's even the point? What's even the point? I have these other responsibilities. I can use the time, the money, the resources to take care of my family or the church or the neighbors, my parents, siblings, and things like that. But again, that yearning is still deep down inside. When that little voice, when you see something that excites you, or you get that feeling that excites you, that means that that passion, that purpose, that dream truly belongs to you. And it is something that it needs to be birthed out. It needs to become a reality. And then that's when it's slowly going to go away, that feeling, because you have taken the time to pour into yourself and take care of you and your desires.
Oh yeah, I so recognize that in my clients as well.
Yeah.
It's amazing how we sort of almost poo-poo it for
Mhm.
ourselves. Not too much to others. We don't really talk about that,
Right.
but to ourselves, we just go like, yeah, no, 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 not now. No,
Yeah.
my life went into another direction. Really? Did it? Did you
Right.
choose for that, or just went that way? And sometimes they don't even notice it. They have no clue. And somebody
Correct.
says, "Didn't you have dreams when you were 22?" Well, you told me about this, that, and the other, and
Mhm.
now. And so, yeah, tell us about a little bit the mind shift. The mindset has to shift. So a mind shift to move them forward. What do you think is the most important avenue to go from stuck to unstoppable?
Definitely. So I think that the number one key thing is to acknowledge it. If you don't acknowledge it, you can't change what you are not aware of, what you don't claim is actually going on. And then slowly take steps and just know that as long as you are breathing, it does not matter whether you are 20, 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. As long as you are breathing, there is still a possibility and there's still time for you to achieve. And sometimes it may not even be to fully achieve that said goal. Because again, let's say you aspire to, be a pilot, for example, and you're now 60 years old. Well, that might not be realistic. However, taking classes to become a pilot, taking some lessons or something like that. Because just because we have a goal or a dream doesn't mean that it needs to be fully achieved. You can work towards it. And even in the taking action, even in the working, and it can be fulfilling. And a lot of times, women out of fear, out of people pleasing, out of disappointing other people is another reason why we push our goals, our desires, our aspirations to the side because we don't want to disappoint other people.
Have you also noticed that the fear is actually a major factor? Like if I do this, what is my husband going to say? Or if
Mm.
I change he's so used to me, and he's working hard and the kids are used to me. I don't want to feel rejected. So,
Right.
but I
Yeah.
want to do my own stuff. And often for women who are, a little bit older, over the hormone level, it's just like, mom, you're fine. You're perfectly fine. Grandma, you're fine. Don't do this. You're fine. You're fine. And then they pull back and
Yeah.
just give up on their dreams. And what you said, becoming a pilot when you're 60 may be a challenge because of your eyes or whatever,
Right.
but study it. If that's
Correct.
what you're passionate about, you don't have to become the pilot who flies the plane, but maybe there is something that you can do in that area. Why not?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. So you talk about reclaiming your voice. Paint us a picture of what that looked like for a woman in everyday life. How does she do it? Give a little bit of an example of that, please, Marianne.
I definitely think that it's very important that women know what their values are, not the values of their parents or best friend, significant other, but their values. What do they stand for? What do they believe? Because once you are clear on your values, you are going to be unstoppable. It is going to be easier for you to set boundaries. It is going to be easier for you to say, you know what? I am going to prioritize my goals. I am going to prioritize my self care because it's interesting that you said rejected. Because for me, fear stands for feeling empty, abandoned, and rejected. There are times when we don't do things in life because we are fearful. We feel that people are going to judge us, people are going to reject us, people are going to abandon us. And all of those feelings are going to cause us to feel empty inside. So again, we abandon our passions. We abandon ourselves because we don't want to disappoint people that we are close to. Being in relationships, being in community, being in companionship is a part of life. We were not created to be by ourselves. We were created to be in relation with other people, whether it's platonic or in a romantic setting and things like that. We are meant to be in community. We are meant to be, surrounded by people that inspire us, with people that will support us and cheer us on. And it's interesting because oftentimes we don't want to disappoint other people, but ultimately we end up disappointing ourselves. And when it comes to, okay, well, if I do this, my friends are going to think that I'm too good, or my husband is going to think that I don't love him anymore, or that I don't want to be in the relationship anymore. At the end of the day, what people think and feel about you, it's their business and it's their problem, not yours. As long as you are being true to yourself, as long as you can look in the mirror and know that you are standing with confidence, that you are being bold, that you are being respectful, that you are being mindful, that's all you need to worry about. Strive to be better than the woman you were yesterday. It's not about comparing yourself to other people. It's not about comparing yourself to your relationship with your partner to other people's relationship. It's about you comparing yourself to the yesterday you. Strive to be better than you were yesterday. And that is it, because oftentimes we can get lost in what we see on social media and the highlight reels. But at the end of the day, we only see the beautiful, great pictures on social media. We don't see the pile of mess. For example, behind me, you see everything is clean and clear. If I was to turn this camera around, there's boxes and books and pictures and things all over the floor because I'm in the process of moving. But to the viewer, oh, her office is so beautiful and everything is put together. But the reality is, what you don't see is what truly paints the whole picture. But I know for myself, then again, I know why the reason that the room looks the way it does. But for the viewer, just focus on making sure that you are standing in your values, in your truth, in your boundaries. And don't just set boundaries to say, oh, I have boundaries. Because when you set boundaries, you actually have to enforce those boundaries for there to be a difference.
Yeah. Oh, I so very much agree with that. You have to set boundaries. This is it at any age. You just go like,
Yes,
this is it. This is how much I can tolerate. This is me. And anybody who doesn't like that, that's not really your problem. And you have to
exactly.
sometimes question if that person is really your friend. And even for
Correct.
relatives, you have to be very careful with relatives. You love them, maybe not so much, you can care, but not that much. But you still have to set boundaries with your children, with your spouse, with your parents, whoever, because before you know, you're a doormat, and that
Yes.
doesn't really work. It doesn't really feel good because I believe, and I think, Marianne, you have the same thing. The most important thing is that you feel good at any time what you want. And what you're doing is got to give you joy, no matter how small the joy is in a day. Maybe it's just 1 minute in the beginning, but you got to have that joy. And I think
Yeah.
it's also important that you recognized it. Look at it. Where did I have joy today? Very,
Right.
very important. So, what is a first step for women who are sort of like, I don't even know where to start? I mean, it's nice what she's talking about, Marianne, and she's got it all taken care of, but where do I start?
Yeah.
Give us a little bit of tips, please.
Definitely. So before I answer that, I do want to say that when it comes to boundaries, you also have to know and set boundaries for yourself. If you say that you are going to commit to doing something, you have to follow through. Because
Okay,
if you don't, because if you don't, that is going to break the trust that you have with yourself.
I
So
love
make
that.
sure that, yes, yes.
Totally.
So
I
make
mean,
sure.
I'm sure you learned it from somebody. I remember I learned that, and I can still remember the day I learned that from Tony Robbins. Credit to him. He told me
Mm,
that commitment is something you say you will do long after the mood you set it in has left you. Sticking
mm,
to your rules. It's that
yes,
one
yes.
thing.
Definitely. So the first step for the woman who feels stuck and she knows that there's more, contact me. No, on a serious note, think, grab a journal, a piece of paper, grab something to write on. It could be the note section on your cell phone. Open up your laptop and think back to when you were 15 years old, 20 years old, 25 years old. Think back about what did you once upon a time say, when I grow up, I want to do X, Y, and Z. Write that down and don't edit. Don't edit. Don't judge. Just free write and just do that brain dump. Write out that down. Did you want to be a teacher, a secretary, a pilot, a doctor? What did you want to do? Write all of that down. Look at where you are today. And then truly ask yourself, am I living within my purpose? Am I passionate about what I am doing? Does this bring me joy? Does this bring me peace? And if it does not, look at what would you like to do? And the woman, you're probably asking, well, how do I know what I want to do? What do you get lost? What do you lose track of time doing? When you're talking to a girlfriend, when you are counseling someone, because we're always giving advice to other people, when you are writing, when you are creating something, do you lose track of time doing that? Figure that out. There are things that you are currently doing in your life that are probably within your zone of genius. So just hone in on that. You have to flip that switch. So just ask yourself, number one, What did I aspire to do once upon a time? Number two, what do I lose track of time doing? Number three, what is the gap between what I truly want to do and what I am currently doing? And number four, what realistic steps can I take next? Because again, you don't have to, depending on the age and circumstances and finances and all of that, all of those things and support system, you may not be able to be a doctor. But what do doctors generally do? They help people, they help people heal, they take care of people. So there could be something in the medical industry that you can get involved in. Maybe you wanted to be a teacher once upon a time. But again, finances are causing you not to be able to go back to school and be a teacher. You can volunteer and things like that. Again, being a pilot, used this example earlier. You may not be able to go fly a plane, but you can learn the mechanics of how plane works and things like that. You can learn something in the aviation field that again is going to bring you joy.
That is so good. Yeah, there are so many possibilities. And what you say, you can learn something in the aviation field that you are interested in, and you
Right.
could perhaps help others understand that as well, take away their fear or whatever. There are so many possibilities. And what came to mind right now, we are living in a very blessed high techno time. If you are anything handy and smart on a computer, just go to ChatGPT and
Right.
type in your passion and say, like, okay, I'm not going to be a pilot, but what possibilities lie around it and see what comes up. Just really dig into it with AI. I think that
Correct.
is a blessing, absolute blessing. So,
Yeah.
ah, and you know what? We actually want to have women feel that feeling that I can do this. I can be unstoppable. So, what does that truly mean to you? I mean, how can a woman step into that version of themselves? How do they do that?
By taking action. And we sometimes think that, for example, let's take weight loss. And I'm using that as a personal example because I am on a weight loss journey right now. I'm not going to close my eyes tonight and wake up tomorrow and be my desired weight. However, 90 days from today, I may be able to wake up and be closer to that. Why? Because starting today, day one, I am taking action. I am doing something small. Those small steps build into the bigger step. So you're not going to wake up tomorrow and be at this desired outcome. You have to take action. No matter how small, every little step counts. And before you know it, 60 days, you're going to notice something. 90 days, you're going to notice something, and other people are going to start noticing. 120 days. And the big thing is also set milestones that are you going to celebrate. Because again, we are always going, 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 going. We're always giving, 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 giving. And we don't stop to celebrate the small progress that we are making. If you, again, using weight loss, if you want to lose 20 pounds, when you lose 5 pounds, celebrate that. Go pick out an outfit that you want to wear when you do reach your goal weight. You lose 10 pounds. Okay, guess what? Make an appointment with a hairdresser to possibly get your hair done. You lose 15 pounds. Okay. Now you want to set up, an appointment with a photographer to take before and after pictures. 20 pounds lost, you have your hair appointment, you have your photographer booked, you have that outfit, and now you're going to go meet with a photographer to take your photos. So make little milestone celebrations and keep celebrating yourself no matter what.
I so very much agree with that, to celebrate your little wins, that is so very important. And we're not often told that by our parents, so we don't
Yeah.
really take it on as something normal, and we don't want to go, oh, look at me, just
Right.
do it for yourself. So
Yeah.
fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Marianne, before we wrap up, tell the women, the fabulous women who are watching and hanging on your lip, tell them again where they can find you, where they have, you're having a beautiful free gift for them, but tell them where they can find more about you or how to contact you.
Yes, definitely. So the free gift is a free guide. It's 7 steps to recognize and deal with fear. Because again, I have my own definition of what fear means, where it comes from, and it's breaking that down. And to
Say it
learn
again, what
more.
was the fear? Because I have never heard what you said.
So fear for me stands for feeling empty, abandoned, and rejected.
Beautiful, beautiful,
Yes.
beautiful,
So it's
absolutely.
understanding your relationship with fear. Where did that fear come from? Because again, you're not just fearful of something because it exists. That fear was either passed down to you, something that actually happened to you, or something that you have seen on social media, or that the first one, when I talked about being passed down to you, if you pause and you look at those that raised you, your mother, grandmother, aunts, and things like that, most likely whatever you are currently fearful of, they probably have experienced that.
Absolutely. So what
Yeah.
is the website again where they can find you, Marianne? Your name?
Yes. So
Okay,
my
so that's
website is Marianne Rivera-Dannert.com, all together, no hyphen. So again, Marianne Rivera-Dannert.com. There are free resources on there. There's my the link to my podcast, which is Healing Her Within, and there's new episodes every Friday on all major platforms of my podcast. There's speaking engagement tips, clips that you can also see on there, and much more.
Thank you so much for that. Marianne, I really enjoyed this interview with you, and I really hope that all the women who are watching just got some golden nuggets out of this. Thank you
Yes.
very much.
Thank you.